For as long as violent video games have existed, there has always been controversy around them. Parents not wanting their children to grow up to be a psycho mass murderer is pretty understandable, but thinking that Fortnite will cause your child to drop into school and start shooting other kids is outrageous. With shows like Squid Game and movies that detail realistic gore currently, it's always confused me as to why video games have always been demonized in such a way. And now, they're coming for Krunker. In the early 90s, the first mature rating was put on Doom for the SNES. This mature rating was given out by the Entertainment Software Rating Board for its animated blood and gore and animated violence. Looking back at it today, it's funny to see that shooting demons was only for those that were legally adults. Side note, did you know in the UK you're actually allowed to enter into the army before you're allowed to play Call of Duty? Anyway, games like Mortal Kombat were massive in this wave of slander on video games. And, well, here's Mortal Kombat.
Liu Kang wins. Flawless victory fatality.
This one is a little bit more understandable, but does it turn your kid into a murderer? Since the early 2000s, we've had to deal with video games being slandered harder than heavy metal. We now have to worry about this. Krunker has landed, and it's got our kids in the crosshairs. Oh boy, here we go. Gamers are loving Krunker for its fast and furious pace and funky graphics. Parents and teachers, not so much. This is actually really true. At my school, I never got the opportunity to play Krunker. It was completely banned on our school system. Probably because someone else was already playing it before me and then they got it banned. So I opted for games like Red vs Blue, and I'd really love smoking all of my classmates. Moreover, my teachers had access to every PC in the class and could control and close tabs that shouldn't be there, which was hilarious to watch to people. Why you should worry? It's all about gun violence. Well, actually, Krunker is a very sophisticated movement shooter that involves plenty of non-violent game modes, one of my favourites being the new Surf Cloud map. Well, duh, it's a first-person shooter. After all, Krunker.io players can choose to arm themselves with assault rifles, rocket launchers, revolvers, light machine guns, and pretty much everything in between. So, Karen, what's your problem with a few bullets flying into a blockhead just to watch that player disappear once their health hits zero? It's hardly a violent video game, and games like this have been proven to improve cognitive functions and hand-eye coordination. Google it. It features chat with adult strangers, and like such, games, abusive, offensive, or just plain aggro voices abound. This is the only understandable quote in this entire article, although whoever wrote this has literally never been in a Krunker voice chat once before in their entire life. It's always the 10-year-olds screaming down into their mic about something nobody cares about, while the adults sit back and laugh or tell them to shut the fuck. Yes, Krunker has a text chat where people can say bad things. But is sheltering your kid away and bubble wrapping them up a good idea? Or is that the reason why we have so many SJWs and simps floating around? I mean, I grew up speaking to adults on the Xbox 360 in game chats, and look, I turned out fine. It's free until it's not. Okay, let's see where this goes. Developers do not release free games out of the goodness of their hearts. They do it for one reason only, to make money through in-app purchases. That's how Fortnite and other free games managed to earn $2.5 billion last year. A game developer wanting to make money off their creation? No, surely not people that spend years modeling and coding games. Can't expect anything in return for their work. That would be outrageous. Wait, you can buy KR? Oh my god, code red, shut down Krunker, sound the alarms, we're going down, boys. Instead of worrying about the fact that you can buy Krunker KR that's only use as cosmetics, how about as a parent? Wait for it, you don't give your kid your bank details. Then they can't spend their money on online games? Not like there's anything wrong with that anyway. Cause Karen, I'm sure that little Timmy would love to buy some KR or a new bundle using code Kashy. I had to plug it. This game also features sneaky embed ads, none of which can be turned off with an ad blocker. They can be turned off with an ad blocker, as much as I don't recommend doing this because ads are a big way that Krunker makes its revenue. It also seems that the person that wrote this article thinks the only way that you can make money off games is by pulling it from your players, which isn't true. The ads that you're seeing are the reason that this game makes a lot of money, and if you have a huge issue with them, you can just use an ad blocker, some of which promote offensive content. The screenshot above Oh my god. The screenshot above shows one such ad, an embedded billboard urging players to subscribe to PewDiePie, a reference to the controversial Swedish YouTuber. This isn't even an ad, it's a billboard promoted to encourage you to subscribe to the world's largest non-corporation YouTube channel and funny man who screams at Happy Wheels.
Your f***ing thing's up. Dad, save me, please! I made it without you, you fucking pig.
The fact they even had the balls to reference PewDiePie and his controversy in this article just weakens every single point that comes before it, and it feels like an absolute cheap shot to Krunker. Kinda like a kick in the ball. Its age verification is non-existent. Krunker.io's online information for parents states, your child should always be honest about his age, and its self-awarded age rating is 8 years old. Krunker is a game where Blockman walks up to other Blockman and then clicks on them until they vanish. It's hardly gory or violent, and if this is trying to imply that there should be a set age restriction for games like this, then I think I've lost all hope, guys. What can parents do? If you decide to allow your child to play Krunker, we strongly recommend that you actively supervise their play and adjust their settings to disable voice chat. Sure, turn off voice chat so your kid won't be ear raped by the other kid in the lobby. And while you're sitting over their shoulder watching them bump into walls and miss all their shots on their trackpad, think to yourself, is this what I need to be protecting my child from? If you decide Krunker isn't right for your child, it's a simple matter to block it entirely or manage it at your discretion using Family Zone controls. And this article was published on a site called Family Zone. Protect your kids, manage screen time, save your sanity. Now, after I read all of that, it feels like these articles are just to scare parents into thinking they need extra bubble wrap for their children and hoping that they'll spend $149 on a family bundle? Oh my god. I think it's important to ask, why do this to your kid? Why control what they play or what they watch? And some may argue that video game addiction or it might turn them into the next mass shooter, but I disagree. I believe you should teach your kid restraint over restriction, as this can teach them to control their own habits and inevitably grow up to be a kid that you can say that you're proud that you raised.